Today I'm going to unpack for you the idea of language contamination. Now, a lot of you may not be familiar with what it is. However, all of you know that words these days are distorted and they take on definitions depending on who's defining them. Well, language contamination is taking on entire concepts and ideas and turning them upside down. Essentially what it does is it weaponizes your assumptions about these against you. Best way to explain it is through an example. Let's say you've got school-age kids and at home you teach them the idea of responsible decision-making. Now in your home you may define responsible decision-making as doing your homework on time, cleaning up after yourself, being fiscally responsible, saving money and not recklessly spending. It could be any one of these things that's your concept of what responsible decision-making is. Now your kids go off to school and lo and behold they come home and you say, "Hey little Johnny, what'd you learn today?" They say, "Well, my teacher taught me about responsible decision making." And you're like, "Fantastic, that's awesome. I'm so glad that the school is teaching my kids exactly what I'm teaching them." Stop. This is the point where you have to do the next part of this and you can't make that assumption because your assumption, I guarantee you, will be weaponized against you. You now have to ask them, what is it or how did the teacher explain responsible decision making to you? What did they define it as? Can you give me some examples? So let's say, for example, the lens through which this teacher operates is that Aboriginal people, Indigenous people were screwed over and that reparations have to be made, and that's their worldview. All right, now they may teach responsible decision-making as, hey, are you from a well-to-do family? Are you white? Basically, you got white privilege. You've made all of this stuff. Or you may even be a minority. Let's say your parents are doing moderately well. Well, as someone who's rich, you have a responsible decision to make, and that would be to give away part of your wealth. That's right. You have to make reparations for what happened. That would be the responsible decision. Now, it could be something like, let's say you're really talented, like your kid's an amazing basketball player, and they're always crushing it at basketball and single-handedly scoring more points than anybody else. They may teach your kid, well, the responsible decision for you would be to hold back because not everybody's been blessed with the same talent. You've had more talent, you have a privilege of talent, so what you should be doing is holding back so others have a greater chance. That's a responsible decision that is to be made. So can you see how that operates in that worldview? Now, it could also be that your kids are taught that men are men and women are women, and that's really what it is. And the teacher may be teaching, well, the responsible decision-making would be something focused on empathy, where we don't judge others, we just let everybody define who they are, because that is societally good, and that's the way to make a responsible decision. It's one that is empathetic in nature. So it's vitally important that if you're a parent and you've got kids, you need to have those discussions to ensure that these phrases, these ideas, these concepts that you've inherently grown with, you've assigned value to as to what they mean, are using the same value being assigned by the educators who are working with your kids. And I will guarantee you 9 out of 10 times, they're not. And that's why it's so important that you sit down and ask those next questions and don't make those assumptions, because those assumptions will be weaponized against you. And what this will lead to is that one day you'll suddenly go, I don't recognize my kids. How did they get here? They're so different than the kids I raised. Well, because you were having those casual conversations, making a lot of assumptions, thinking that the school system is geared to come alongside and support you in your role as a parent. Not so, my friends. The system these days is designed to turn those kids against you. And the reason it does that is because the educators that, not all of them, but certainly a vast majority of them, have different worldview and different ideas, and they're contaminating the language that these kids are listening to. So, same thing as far as even if you're having a discussion with a coworker or anybody else. It's so important not only to define what words mean, but entire concepts and language, things that you would just take for granted. Anyway, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Please post any comments you have in the comments section. You can also follow me in my Rumble and my Locals account. If you're on my Rumble channel, please subscribe to it, because at times YouTube likes to decide that what I'm saying is contaminating and not good, and they cancel me out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out some of my past videos, and as always, like I said, please post your comments and thoughts. See you next time.